Happy Friday, Cedar Park. First, an update on the Ukrainian crisis.
A new sports report, plus a look at teacher madness.
Plus weekend destinations, a new sports report, and pet of the week.
Let's jump in because the Wolfcast starts now. Good morning, Cedar Park, and welcome back to the Wolfcast. I'm Jack Polishuk, joined by Katie Whitmarsh and Madeline Roberts-William for Abby Martinez.
We're now a month into Russia's invasion on Ukraine, and tensions have stayed high. The crisis follows months of diplomatic efforts as well as the civil issues within Ukraine.
Previously, we looked at the history of the situation up until 2014, but now we're looking at what's happened more recently with more on the topic. Reporter Ethan Hexter has more.
Thank you, anchors. Picking up where we left off before the break, we look at the recent developments on the crisis and how events back in 2019 led to the February invasion. Back in 2019, after years of government corruption and constant violence on the eastern border of Ukraine, actor and comedian Volodymyr Zelensky is elected president. Because of his background, many citizens don't take him seriously, but throughout his career, he would vow to stop the war on the border and make peace with Russia. This sets the stage for Zelensky's recent leadership amidst the war. And then 2 years later, in April 2021, Russia sends 100,000 troops to Ukraine's border, claiming that it's for military training. Analysts begin to believe that an invasion is imminent, and Ukrainian President Zelensky urges NATO to put Ukraine on a timeline for membership. Later that year in August, Zelensky meets with current President Joe Biden. Biden says the U.S. is committed to Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity in the face of Russian aggression. 2 months later, in 2021, Ukraine's European and North American allies begin diplomatic efforts to prevent conflict in the area. During these months, Russia sends over 190,000 troops as well as artillery and armored vehicles. They send 100,000 of these troops to the Ukrainian border. Then, a month later, Biden meets virtually with Putin in an effort to diffuse international tension. Putin sets a number of demands, including that Ukraine be permanently barred from NATO membership. If Ukraine was barred from joining NATO, they wouldn't receive military help from member countries. And in January 2022, representatives from the U.S. and NATO delivered their written responses to Putin's demands, saying that they will not bar Ukraine from NATO membership. A month later, on February 22, 2022, Putin agrees to acknowledge the independence of the two separatist republics, Donetsk and Luhansk. However, Putin stays firm in his belief that Ukraine isn't a sovereign country, but a Russian annex. And finally, 2 days later, on February 24, 2022, after the months-long standoff between Russia and NATO, Russia invades Ukraine at 4:30 in the morning. Missiles are seen across the country, and Russia seizes the inactive Chernobyl nuclear site north of Kiev. The death toll among Ukrainian soldiers and citizens starts at 137 on the first day. And now, a month later, on March 22nd, the official death toll among Ukrainian civilians is over 900 people, although sources estimate thousands more civilians have died. Russia has seized multiple nuclear sites as well as the port city of Mariupol. Thousands of buildings have been destroyed throughout the country, with Russia focusing its firepower on heavily populated cities. Over 10 million Ukrainians leave their homes, either becoming internally displaced or fleeing to surrounding countries. For the most recent information on the Ukraine crisis, news outlets like CNN and New York Times are uploading live updates to their website.
Thanks, Ethan. If you are interested in supporting people affected by the crisis, international officials urge any generous supporters to donate to organizations dedicated to providing aid and to the people affected by the conflict. For more information on how you can donate, check the link in our Instagram bio at CPHS News.
Every year, our very own news department puts on the annual Teacher Madness competition, where students vote for their favorite teachers in a bracket-style competition that includes 64 teachers throughout the school. Teacher Madness is a way for students to show their appreciation for their favorite teachers, and we've had winners like Mrs. King, Mr. Babbage, Mrs. Holt, and the now retired Miss Kennedy. This year, we hope to find yet another teacher that demonstrates LASD ideals and adds to our school's community. The next round of voting opens Monday at noon, so look out for the link. Make sure to show your teachers some love by voting for them at cphswolfpack.com/teachermadness.
And now Jana has the top 3 things you need to know for today.
Welcome back, Cedar Park. I'm reporter Jana Lipkin, and here with your top 3 things you need to know today. First, NATO has stationed 40,000 troops along the border of Eastern Europe. NATO's special forces are stationed in Romania, the Air Force is stationed in Germany and Turkey, and the new battle teams are born in Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria. Next, Rihanna uncovers her baby's gender. Rihanna was last seen at Target picking out clothes for her baby girl, which then leads fans to think, when first announcing her pregnancy with A$AP Rocky, she knew the gender already by wearing a pink coat. The question is now, when is the due date? Lastly, after almost 3 years waiting, Harry Styles comes out with a release date for his new album, Harry's House. The artist finished Love on Tour for his last album, Fine Line. Fans already have an idea about what the album may be themed based off his new launch video. And that's all I have for you today with CPHS News. I'm Jana Lipkin. Have a fantastic Friday, CP.
Thanks, Jana.
So I was at home yesterday and I was asleep because I wasn't feeling too hot. I was sleeping and I had the urge to wake up, and I woke up, checked my phone, and I'm in a group chat with some of my friends, and I had like 100+ text messages, and they're like, when Katie wakes up, she's gonna freak out. And I'm like, what is going on? And Harry released an album, and I was like, what? Anyway, Jack, are you a Harry Styles fan?
What do you think is the answer to that question?
No, but I wish you were.
You'd be correct.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah, Madeline? I know you're a Taylor Swift fan.
Yes,
so this is
I
controversial.
I'm definitely going to choose Taylor Swift over Harry Styles. Sorry, Kitty. But he's actually, Sign of the Times is on the new Bridgerton soundtrack.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's
So
also
you'd
in
like
Riverdale, which makes me, yeah, that's how I feel.
Just two amazing shows.
Oh, yeah.
And that was Sports Report with Kate. Oh, I also want to say, any Denzel Curry fans out there, there's a new album today. I just want to say, I'm very excited for that. So I like music, guys. And now our Sports Report with Katie and Reese. But first, these announcements.
Hello, Cedar Park, and welcome back to the Wolfcast Sports Report. I'm Katie Whitmars.
And I'm Reese Elizondo.
On Tuesday, the baseball team faced Liberty Hill and took home a big win, 13-0. Great job, boys.
Next Tuesday, they'll be up against Eastview on Eastview's field starting at 7. Make sure to come out and be loud for your Timberwolves.
And last night, the girls' soccer team went up against Canyon in the Bi-District Championship. Going into overtime 1-1, the Lady Timberwolves fought hard and came out on top 2-1.
Going into round 2 of the playoffs against Medina Valley next week, these girls are ready for another fight. Congrats, ladies.
And that's all we have for you today with CPHS News. I'm Katie Whitmarsh.
And I'm Reese Elizondo.
Now let's throw it over to Reagan Hill for this week's Weekend Destinations.
Hello, Cedar Park High School, and happy Friday. I'm Reagan Hill here with your weekend destinations. First, room into the weekend with NASCAR at the Circuit of the Americas. Depending on how much a NASCAR fan you are, you can cop an individual day or you can go to the entire 3-day celebration of fast cars. There will be plenty of food as well as in-person driver appearances, so you can finally ask them if they've ever gotten a speeding ticket. Circuit of the Americas tickets range from $30 to $275, so go to NASCAR@COTA.com to purchase your tickets. Next, go old school, like really old school, at the Renaissance Fair. This weekend, drive 40 minutes outside of Austin to the town of McDade for the 13th annual Sherwood Forest Fair. The fair consists of events such as jousting, fire juggling, and over 150 shows. The locally owned medieval-style village spans over 25 acres and includes buildings such as stages, pubs, merchant shops, and a complete castle and more. So go grab that flower crown or sword and head over to Sherwood Forest Fair. Tickets start at $26. Lastly, now I don't know if you like country music, but country western legend Willie Nelson is here in Austin. See the iconic Shotgun Willie and Trigger as he delivers yet another amazing set filled with classics that will be impossible to not tap your foot to. The show takes place at Luck Ranch in Spicewood, Texas, with doors opening at 5:30 p.m. Tickets start at $59 per person. And those are your weekend destinations. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day and an amazing weekend. With CBHS News, I'm Reagan Hill.
Okay, so I have beef with the Renaissance Fair.
We went together when we were
yeah.
when we were in
Yeah.
advanced theater.
Oh, yeah. And what's your beef with it?
So in middle school, every bands and choir, they all went to like cool places like Six Flags or like Schlitterbahn, and we went to the Renaissance Fair.
I thought it was fun.
The lamest
You didn't like
place,
it?
no, in all of history. Don't go.
Get it in all history.
All the other ones were good, Reagan, My one criticism is that don't put the Renaissance Fair in the weekend
But
destination.
some people are interested
Yeah,
in
some people
that.
are into that.
Well, you shouldn't be because it's.
Jack!
You're gonna get canceled
Fair has very good turkey legs. I will say
Exactly,
that.
Yeah, but you
It's
can like
fun.
get a turkey leg like anywhere else.
I actually
Not
don't
at a
like
Renaissance
turkey.
fair.
And now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Pet of the Week. Our Pet of the Week is senior Natalie Mayo's cat, Max. 6 years ago, Natalie and her family adopted Max at an event hosted by their family's vet, and he's since become part of the family. Max spends his days indulging in all the great joys of life, such as sleeping on people's legs, sitting in puzzle boxes, and watching bird videos on the TV. His favorite toy is a stuffed turtle, though, so maybe don't let him near any shelled reptiles. If you'd like your pet to be featured on Pet of the Week, direct message us on our Instagram account at CPHS News. And that's all we have for you today. Make sure you're keeping up with all of our content, so head over to our YouTube at CPHS News.
You can also follow at CPHS_sports for updates during the games.
Thanks for taking the time to join us this morning.
With CPHS News, I'm Katie Whitmarsh.
I'm Madeline Roberts.
And I'm Jack Polshuk. Remember to make it a great day or not, the choice is yours.